Hey guys, it's Tarek with Cyclone 3D, and today I wanted to show you the newest custom designed quad that I've made and designed and cut and assembled here. And a little background on this is that an internet customer, somebody that saw our videos on the internet as far as the other custom drones that we've done, wrote me and said that they wanted a super custom quad with the same strength that the other ones are, that the other ones have that I've designed. But they wanted some certain features. They wanted everything enclosed. They wanted it to look unique, like nothing they've ever seen. They wanted it to be strong, be fast. I mean, basically, you know, come with everything on it that was necessary to fly. Didn't want to break the bank, so you know, put more money into the body and the frame and the design, and you know, pick very good components, but we don't have to go with the most expensive components. So I'm going to introduce to you and present to you the newest quad. I designed this last week. I cut the carbon fiber, I drew it, sketched it up, 3D CAD, drew it, cut it, and have flown it today. And you can see the videos after this one. You'll see those videos. This is going to be a real quick video on this quad, so I want to show this to you. Let me back up a little bit. This is the new C220R2 Special Edition, and this is an extremely custom drone, meaning this was drawn up, designed, and cut for this particular customer, and it will be available to sell to the public, but the first one is going to go to the customer who requested a very unique looking drone. So here's what I've done here is I stayed in line with our battery being center mounted. So obviously now I don't think I have one here. Give me one second. Right. It's the one I used today. So this is a 4S 1800. So basically, battery will slide right in, and I put these spacers in the front to stop the battery from going forward, especially on an impact. I've got my Velcro down here, so let me get this in there. There we go. And so this is an a 4S 1800 series battery, and fits perfectly in here, but it's center weighted. So as you can see, the motors and the wings are in line with the center of the battery here, and that was one of the things that we wanted to definitely keep, because I can tell you right now, if you haven't flown one of our quads yet, if you ever get a chance to fly one or ever order one, you're going to notice very quickly, like I've said before, having your battery center mounted and not top or bottom heavy on the quad makes your turns and flips that much more accurate. And one of my videos, you're going to see a pretty quick roll, and there's absolutely no loss in altitude. I mean, it was unbelievable to roll when it came out today on this quad. But anyway, so moving on, this holds the 4S 1800, and we've got the let's see, we'll start with the motors, I guess. We've got the DYS motors, the 2600 Fire series motors, and they are phenomenal. I've been very happy with the performance out of these so far. Very fast. I love the way they sound. I mean, the hollow shaft on there makes this whistling sound as it's flying, and it's pretty intense. We've got a Racer Star 30 amp all-in-one F4 board with ESCs, and you can kind of look inside there. I hope you can see some of that. It all sits inside here, pretty much mid-level, right about to here. And on top of that, we've got the new eSheen Super Mini VTX. Pretty interesting. I like it. Signal's okay. You know, you can modify it, but I was happy for the most part with it. I think there's probably some tweaking I can do with antenna placement, but it definitely performed to what I was hoping. And underneath, where you cannot see, is underneath this board, right underneath there, is the XSR, the FlySky XSR. And the way I've mounted that is a little different. If you were to take the battery out and you look straight through the bottom of our logo here, you're going to see the button, I guess, that you would press to program to your transmitter. So mounted, the whole purpose of this quad was to make it easy to access the boards and everything else, and then also things like being able to not have to take everything apart just to get in there and program or to attach to a transmitter. Moving on, these are 4 pieces of carbon fiber cut specifically for this. They have grooves cut inside them, as you can see right here. Let me see if I can show you that. These grooves, and these grooves latch under the main base right here, the main this main top plate, and so they actually lock into place. And you know, people were asking me, well, how are you going to get carbon fiber to stand vertical without using aluminum or some sort of bracket? And I'm like, look, there's ways to make it happen if you just take your time and design. And I definitely spent my time designing this. There's more ways than this to do it, and I've got some new ones coming out that are going to even be more wicked. Things that you never even thought of could be done with carbon fiber. But in this case, these slid right in and locked in. And then what I've done is I've added 2 spacers in the front for stability, and then I've added another 2 spacers down the center, and then if you look on the back, I've added 2 spacers on the back. Now, on the top spacer, and the reason I use these spacers is they make for great housing. For example, we're all worried about impact, right? And so one of the things that people have experienced is their antennas breaking. So for the VTX antenna, I've actually side mounted it on here. And it can act on impact. It's simple. It's nothing huge in engineering. It's just common sense. Mount it on a round spacer, and if it impacts, it just rolls backwards, just like this. It doesn't break. It's not falling off or snapping by any means. So I can roll it back up if I need to. Same goes for the XSR antennas. The reason I put them like this is they're designed to either roll back, just like this on impact. So if you got to figure, you know, you're coming in for a crash and you hit and your quad scrapes the ground, well, now your antennas just rolled back. It's very simple. Roll them back up and you're good to go. There's been enough slack added in these in the lines here. They can go forward, they can go backwards. Simple stuff, but it's the kind of stuff that allows you to crash and take back off instead of having to crash and go home and fix it and come back. Another thing that I added, which I'm going to show you here real quickly, one of the other features I did was it's as simple as removing 2 screws. You remove the two back screws. Let me do this real quickly. Put this down here. So for those people that want to get to the motor, or not to the motor, sorry, the flight controller board or the ESCs, you know, when you start getting into these quads, and they put it all together, and that's great. But then when you have to get to something, it's a real big pain. So here's what I did. Now, keep in mind that I've got my antennas already fastened. Okay, so you could fasten them if you wanted to change them and put them somewhere else. That's fine. So which means I cannot lift this up fully. But here's the design I put in mind. I decided, okay, you remove those 2 screws, this entire center area is going to pivot up. And when it pivots up, you have full access to the flight controller, video transmitter, and your FlySky. So it'll flip up, and I'm not going to pull it too much because those antennas are going to stretch the line too much, but I think you get the idea. Is flips all the way up, and then when you're done, you push it just back down, and get that spacer in there, push it back down, and then you put those 2 screws on the sides back in, and you're good to go. Another thing I did was I added the and now in this particular series I put the Fat Shark in here. So my camera's a Fat Shark camera, and so if you can see right here, let me see if I can point this out with this piece. So right here, right? Yeah, right there. There's 1 screw. Right, and then on here is the other pivot screw right there. Right, perfect. So what this does is you can loosen those, and oops, I don't want that to come up. So you can loosen those, and this camera will pivot how you want it to. So here, let's say for example, let me put it at this angle and see if I can show you. So you can pivot it up, you can bring it back down, and it's pretty tight right now because I've got the whole thing fastened. But if you loosen it, you've got full range to move this camera anywhere from about 20 degrees all the way up to about maybe 50-ish or so, and then you lock it in and it's tight. The camera is housed inside the unit. The lens is a little extra big, so it may sit a little bit out, as you can see, but nothing that's going to take an impact because of the way this is shaped. This camera and everything is going to roll, and that was the design behind this, was that I wanted it to be able to hit the ground if it did have impact, and this one did today. I'll be honest with you, I smacked right into a tree, and not just like a limb. I hit the freaking as a challenge that somebody gave me on a beta flight forum. They said, well, you know, you're dropping from 120 feet, it's cool and all, but it's not realistic for a racing. I said, well, what do you want? He goes, well, I mean, you know, you need to hit a gate, which we did, and gates are easy. We're not dying on gates. He says, and hit a tree, and I'm like, you want me to hit a tree like a limb? And no, hit the trunk. And I said, okay, well, I'm not going to really go for it, but today I happened to accidentally hit a trunk, and you'll see it in the video. I smacked into it, and the quad took a pretty good hit, but it kept flying. It never even hit the ground. It hit, and as soon as I noticed it hit, I punched it, took up, and I kept flying. And you'll see it in the video there. I think it's video 2, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, long story short, you've got a fully enclosed or mounted here Fat Shark, and we can put any camera in there. But look, the idea is this. This quad is designed and it's rounded for a specific reason. I want this quad to be able to roll, and with enough momentum, I want it to roll and then continue to pop back up and land on its base. Now, in the videos you're going to see, I took a couple of, where I came in for a little bit too quick of a landing. I had my kids around me, and I get a little nervous when they're running around me and I'm flying with goggles on. But the quad landed upright. It's the same with my other quads. They land upright. So I have to say it's probably one of the best quads I've ever built. I designed it from scratch. You got 5mm arms. You've got 2mm center pieces, and which is ample. Total weight on this quad without battery is about 13.3 ounces. With 4S 1800 battery, you're at about 1.35 pounds, which is, if you want to calculate that with the thrust from these motors of about 1100, you've still got about, let's see, 1100 is going to give you about a, let's see, 10-to-1 ratio maybe. On thrust to weight, maybe a little less. I haven't done the math today, but pretty sure that when I did the math a couple days ago, it was either between 8-to-1 to 10-to-1. The thing is screaming fast. You'll see in the videos if you watch it, because there's baseball practice going around and around me while I'm flying. I am very careful when I'm flying to not get too low or get too crazy, but I did try to push it to about 60-70% throttle, and it's screaming. And I hope you enjoy the videos on it, but I'll end it here. This is where my company's headed. I am spending more time doing custom designs like this. I want to see my quads in the racing circuit. I believe that these quads can outrun plenty of other quads out there. They're designed to take a full impact and get back up and fly. They're designed not to break. They're designed not to break as easily as the other ones do. And so I'd like you guys to give my quads a try. I mean, they're priced properly. I'm going to do intro pricing because I'm trying to get my name out there. I'm going to, stand behind my product 100%, and I really want you guys to think about giving it a shot, letting me know what you think. But this is it. This is the C220. It's a 220 base. It's a C220R2. The R1 is a unibody. I'll have a video on that later, but please watch the videos. Video 1 and 2 today of the test flights are out on YouTube. They'll be up after here, and then tomorrow I'll do video 3, 4, and 5. And get a little bit closer to the ground and run it through some gates and show you guys what it can do. But I pushed it today, and I was very pleased with it, and I think my customers are going to love it to death, and I hope you guys do too. So anyways, thanks for your time, guys. I know I've rambled a little too much, but please watch some of these other videos, and if you're interested in letting me design one for you, I'd love to. I try to get my name out there, so any chance I get to make somebody a custom quad, I love to take advantage of it, and I appreciate y'all very much. Take care.